am just now biking out of the Whole Foods in downtown Austin, Texas. And I wanted to give a few tips because everybody says that getting groceries, isn't possible without a car or whatever. I wanted to give a few tips on at least how I get groceries without a car, which, by the way, I don't always. I do have a car and I do use it to get groceries sometimes. But when I lived in Seattle, Washington, I actually didn't own a car. So like for 5 years, I got groceries without one. So a few things. First of all, obviously there are some methods that I'm not going to talk much about. One of them is delivery, which I think is totally viable. If you have the money and you want to get your groceries delivered, I think it's completely fine. I did that in Seattle for some time. Another is if you live walking distance to a grocery store, you can do that. I lived next to a Whole Foods in Seattle, and I would get my groceries that way, and it was totally fine, totally functional, totally reasonable. You can, if you live close enough. I find that for a lot of people, if you have like a really inconvenient transit route to get groceries, or if you just live far away, like too far to get groceries, like, maybe walking is not the move for you. And then finally there is the cargo bike. And so if you have a cargo bike, you can use that. Now, I don't have a cargo bike. I've never had one, and I haven't done a ton of research into them. So I don't have great advice, but they seem pretty cool. The one thing I would say is, like, if you have a lot of like uphill, I don't know, maybe cargo bike might be a little tough, but also, like, I guess with a cargo bike, you probably can't like put it on a bus or a train as easily as you can a normal bike. Might depend on what kind of bus or what kind of train, but generally speaking, I would assume that would be the case. But yeah, how I get groceries when I get groceries on a bike is often as simple as just bringing a backpack, like the one I have. You're gonna want a pretty big backpack, like, not a tiny one, because you don't want to, you want to lessen the chance that you get to checkout and you're like, oh shit, I don't have enough room to actually fit my stuff in the backpack. And some other strategies for doing that, this is probably the most important stuff, is think about like liquids. Like, liquids are going to be tough. Liquids are notoriously inefficient, right? Like, you don't really want to be hauling 12 packs of soda on your bike. It's just going to take up a lot. It might not even fit in a backpack. Like, I have a big backpack, and I don't think that it would fit in my backpack. And things like big jugs of juice, like, maybe if you really need it, you can get one of those, but it's just taking up a lot of your space budget for your bike. Looks like this guy has a cargo bike, so yeah, if you have something like that, that probably changes things. So yeah, you have to kind of like budget what you can actually put in your backpack, which isn't to say you can't get a lot of stuff, right? Obviously, you could easily get like a couple pounds of rice and a couple pounds of protein and could fit them in a backpack, and that would be, you know, that could feed a family for a couple of days or whatever. So this idea that it's like impossible to go to the grocery store if you don't have a car is basically nonsense. Now obviously depends on, even you might even live too far away to bike, so you might have to consider combining bike with transit. But another thing that you can do is consider it, like for me, I have corner stores and like smaller like bodega convenience stores near me. They don't have everything I need, and also the stuff they have tends to be a little bit overpriced, but for certain things, you know, it can be, you know, I can get most of my stuff at the grocery store, and then I can just get, like, for example, the 12-pack of Coke at my convenience store behind y'all. And that could be like a pretty reasonable approach. It's just like, get the things that are really important to get at the grocery store, or that are only at the grocery store, that are efficient to get at the grocery store. And then, you know, for certain things, maybe you can get them at the convenience store near you. And then, like, you know, I think it's perfectly fine to, if you have a car, obviously to drive sometimes and get groceries. But even just occasionally replacing a trip in a car with a trip on a bike or walking, you know, I find is really nice, because, I don't know, it kind of forces you to be more efficient, and also just biking around is nice. So hopefully that makes some sense. I bought some lamb today, some lamb shank today at the grocery store, so I'm gonna make that with some thyme and bay leaves in the oven. Never really made it before. Hopefully I can get it tender enough. But yeah, good luck with y'all's non-car based grocery shopping.